Effective communication has two main elements: speaking and listening. Communication is not only an important tool in our day-to-day interaction with friends and family, but also in our marriages. How do we improve how we speak to one another as married couples? Stay tuned as Dr. Njeri Gashohi takes us through effective communication in marriage in today's episode.
Welcome to our class, the Marriage Classroom, and we continue to learn and more about how to effectively communicate. Last time we looked at one of the aspects of how to communicate effectively, and that was what? Judge? Speaking. And we said we must be able to know how to speak. So, 4 things we said. We can add more because the 4 is only because of the time, because we can have many more. We said you need to speak respectively. Yes. Another thing we said we need to speak to one another. Constance? Yeah, gently, a gentle answer. Aston?
You speak the truth with love.
You speak the truth in love. And the last one, George?
You speak timely. Yes,
timely. As his version said, or Good News version said, the right word for the right occasion. And so we look at the next aspect of how to communicate effectively. You need to speak, but you also need to what? To listen. Yes. Now that it is a two-way communication. Yes. It's not a monologue. We said you're not the one who is giving the habari, see, or tuba, so that you don't have somebody to answer. But we are speaking. And then today we look at how to listen. We are listening now. Okay, so listening. And it looks something very easy. But you know, this is one of the hardest thing to do in communication.
Yes.
We love to speak.
Yes.
It is usually takes, though it looks like it is the one which is the, you don't take effort. But to listen, you need to be able to do it well. Okay. So how do we listen? Yes, George.
You must listen attentively.
Yes.
Kuna watu ambao ako shughuli zake ameangalia kwingine na wanaongea.
Okay.
They are communicating. But unapata mtu wako kwa shughuli zake. Nasema wewe ongea ninasikia. So I think to me that is poor listening. You must listen and show interest in the issue that is being handled at that time.
Correct. That is it. So we call it active listening. You must listen actively. Now, actively, though you are listening and you're not saying, active listening, as he says, is where you are paying attention. You're not saying, ongea, nasikiza. I don't know how many times those who are parents here or you are children, and they are talking to you, and then after they have talked and says, mama hata unisikizi, because they ask you a question, it's like, you're not listening. Sometimes we feel we've not been heard. Why? Because somebody has not listened to us actively. Actively is where now it is not only the fact that you are looking at the person, but are you engaged? You can also have a blank stare. Okay? Yes. In counseling, we talk about active listening, or attending to the person, involving a word we call it solar. We can do a little bit of counseling. So we say you sit squarely. I don't know what it means squarely. It's not like you are in a square, but at least the way you sit upright. It's not, if you find somebody who is listening to you and is slumped like this, what do you think about that person who just like this?
Just talk.
Yes, you just talk, Marisa. This is not sitting squarely. Okay?
Yes.
You are not squarely. And then we say you have an open posture. An open posture is where you actively want to listen to me. So you're not like this. If you have talked to somebody na anakaa hivi amefuga mikono, what does this communicate?
Ako ready kwa anything.
Ako ready this way. What does it communicate? Yes?
I think he's withdrawn and is not.
Yes.
Yeah, he's not interested so much in what you're saying.
It's your business.
Yes.
I don't want even to get involved. This is what he communicates. When you're talking to somebody or you listen to somebody, don't, even as a counselor, never listen to somebody like this. It's like, that is your issue. Now, just let it not get into me, but I'm listening to you. That's not open posture. We say your open posture. Then we say lean forward a bit. Not ile kama ya uchuguzi au you want more news Kuna ile unataka more mushene. Okay, you see that one the way they say it's ni kweli you go all these like you are somehow it's like the interest is built more. It goes to curiosity, Yes. But now when you talk about lean forward, it's more like I'm interested with what you are saying. I'm engaged. So it's like I'm not slumped like this fellow. You're sitting in a way. If you were to draw it, you're more like sitting like this, and your hands are here. So you're more like I'm attending to you. Yes. You are not like this. Okay? Then the other thing we say, and Sola, the other one is we say eye contact. So keep the eye contact. Like since sikukodoa macho, sikumkodolea macho, unakaa, so unajua naweza kuwa vile unakaa ukistuka, unamshtua. Anasema kwani mambo yangu ni gumu hivyo. Hivi. Eye contact means, I know sometimes, I don't know whether men feel like women are not submissive or not really humble when they look at you. Na unanikodolea macho hivyo. Okay. But I think if you are talking and communicating, it is good that we engage with our eyes.
Yes.
The eyes talk a lot.
Yes.
We call them the window of the soul. You can know hostile eyes. You can see eyes that really are understanding. You can see eyes that are, empathizing. Okay? Or you can see eyes that are just handling like, what are you saying? I know better, But then we also say that part of it is whatever we are saying, kindly let it not be like it's a matter of death. We are friends, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, so relax. So there's nothing, even when it is something so serious, let's not be so tensed up. Sometimes that relaxation helps somebody, even the other one who is speaking, to realize somebody is ready to listen to me. So we are talking about active listening. So, and I hope we will not forget.
Yes.
Okay, then the other thing is empathetically. We listen to people empathetically. So we have given them their attention. We are actively listening, but also if we have to listen well, then empathetically, empathy. Let's say with empathy or empathetically.
Yes.
Now, what do we mean by empathy? Empathy, we say it is where you feel with, not for. Sympathy is when we feel for. Okay?
Yes.
You're almost like sympathizing.
Yes.
But empathy goes beyond sympathy. You really would want to feel with the person. Let's say like you are a husband or and the wife comes and tells you how the day has been with the children, with the cows, with the cuckoos and all that. If I have not even had time to rest. It is not saying, you too, I have had a big day. Now you've not empathized.
Yes.
Because you have not listened to the actual feeling. She was not only giving you the orodha ya siku, alikuwa nakwambia what it meant to her. I remember we said about where we also communicate with emotions, okay? We feel the other person. Yes. What did it mean or how did it feel to be so busy? Then the man comes and he says about going from one job to looking for a job, or he had had a hard day at work. And how do you listen? I wish you'd know how it is. It's bad to be at home. Unajua badala ya umemsikiza lakini you are listening, comparing his situation to your situation. Did we empathetically listen?
No.
No. Now, what you do is any person who is talking, now try to get into their shoes. We say, see it in their own eyes. My husband used to make fun of me when he's trying to show me something. And then he's showing it. Now, one time he realized, I can't. He says, then he realized, however much I want to, I can't. Why? At his level and at my level. So I realized sometimes he would just come and down and now at my head and say, oh, now I want to warn. But now we are struggling. Why can't you see? Can't you see that? I can't, because in my level, unless you come and see at what level do I see the horizon, then you will never be able to understand my view. So what we say, even in communication, in marriage, it is important that we empathize. Does a woman, a wife really want to know how it means, what it feels to go to work and look for a, job, or, try one business and another, what it feels as a man? Now, you may need to empathize. What about the wife? I mean, the husband who comes home and fights like, I mean, it's like being at home with the children, nini, you are left one day with that child and the cuckoos.
And everything.
I don't know whether any one of you has ever had an incident where you are left.
There is a case that I saw somewhere where the wife is a civil servant. And the husband is in juakali industry, and the wife would really see it, would really pressurize the man. Tafuta pesa, watoto wanahitaji kulipiwa shule, wanahitaji karo ya shule. Then the man would say, sina namna, lakini nitajaribu. Na the wife akawa anamwambia, kwa nini usichukue karun? Sasa hajui ya kwamba when you are a civil servant, it is easier to take a check of loan.
There is a check of,
It is easier to take a check of loan than ukiwa kwa jua kali. Unahitaji kuleta to prove beyond reasonable doubt
that you can
to
have
get
the ability.
even a small loan.
True.
So the husband was feeling ya kwamba hajasikizwa empathetically.
Yes, hajaelewa.
Hajaeleweka.
Hajaeleweka. Or hajashikika.
Yes.
Okay.
And it was really troublesome.
Yes.
Because mke anamwambia, siwende tafuta pesa mahali, kopa. Na mume hata mahali pa kukopa hakuna, because ako kwa jua kali industry while the other one is a civil servant. So it was really troublesome.
It's true.
Yes.
So empathy means that that's why we say listening is even taking a lot of more, intention or wisdom than even speaking. Because here you purpose to hear and understand what the other person is saying. Because if you don't, you lose it. Because in that case, you never heard him or you never heard her. Okay?
Yes.
And somebody just said, empathy can just be simply put, you may never be a dog. But if ever one time you ever got into the mind of a dog, how do you want your food to be cooked? Vile tunapikanga chakula ya mbwa. You just do like this and unamwagia because you think it is a dog. Let me ask you, sometimes I keep saying empathy is where you ask yourself, if one time, I'm not saying we'll be dogs, but ever one time you felt that way, how do you want your food to be cooked? And I keep saying, a man, you may never be a woman, not even in this life or later.
Yes.
But if ever you are a woman, how do you want to be treated? If you are a wife, how do you want? And even you as a wife, you may never be a man. But if ever one day you found yourself as a man, how would you have wanted to be regarded, respected, honored, and all that? Those are the way that's when we talk about empathy.
Yes.
So when you come home and you have all had a very hard day, and then you are there taking the remote, and the wife is in the kitchen with the children, and you still yelling, asking for tea and food kwa nini inakaa, then there is no empathy. Because I would want to ask you, if it was you who had left the job with all the work and you have come home and you now, one is working, another one is resting. What about if you had the reversed roles? How would you have wanted it? That's we say empathy. Listen to people, and hear, and empathetically. And the last thing on this, we say you listen non-judgmentally, with no judgments, non-judgmentally. Judge. Where is the judge? We start with what? D, G, M, judgmentally. Okay, so what are we saying? As you listen to the person, don't try to weigh the person versus you. If it was me singefanya hivyo. You know, I'm narrating my story, but you are thinking if it was you in that position, you'd have done better. In that way, you are not listening. You are now comparing. You are even judging the person. You feel like you never, the person has never understood, because at the end of it, sema na kwa nini ukasifanya hivyo? You see, now you are asking me to give reasons and justify. Kwa nini? Would you first hear me and understand why, empathetically, why in my situation I did that way, or I invested here because this was my thought, or this is what I thought. If I had known better, I wouldn't have done it. Mimi siwezi weka pesa hapo. It was you, but that time in my situation, I like you were giving the example. The man may not be able to get a loan because in his situation, he is not empowered. He doesn't have a checkup. So don't judge that the person is lazy, not even willing to do the work and all that. And sometimes there is that feeling that I've not been listened. Now listening is a lot of work.
Yes.
Because if somebody asked you, what have you heard? Not just the words. Did you also get the feeling? Did you get the emotions? Did you get exactly what it meant to go through that day? That is when you are told to give it back, can you be able to do it? And we will look at maybe one of the things as we extend in our discussion. We will look at the acronym listening, or how to listen, and see whether we can capture some of those things that we have said.
Yes.
And unless there's a question, I want us to end the class there. Thank you for your participation. But I can see we are contemplating whether we are good listeners. Today we are really in that mode. Yes, I'm also asking myself, have I been listening empathetically?
Proverbs 15 verse 11. A gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. In today's discussion during the break,
we learned in class today, or the other time we had the class, we were looking at how to listen, and we said listening is some work, okay?
Yes.
And we summarized that you need to listen to understand, to hear, or to know what is going on without interrupting, okay?
Yes.
And so we said you can listen in one way. How do you listen? Ask
Actively.
Actively.
Yes.
Where you are fully attentive to the person. Then we said you can also listen.
Empathetically.
Yes, empathetically. So not sympathetically, it is empathy. You're getting almost into the person's shoes and now feeling how it hurts, or why he's not walking properly. Because maybe you were thinking he's just pretending, or she's pretending. Then the other third thing?
Non-judgmental.
Non-judgmental. And so I want us to discuss and maybe summarize from the word listen. Now we can also get our way of remembering. Remember how we were reminded how in school, body mass. You remember body mass? And up to today, even you are not in school, you can remember brackets of
Division.
Yeah, and because sometimes there's a way we remember things by knowing the acronym or using the acronym. Okay, so we are going to use the word listen to summarize what we have learned today, or we've learned in the class. Okay, so we start with L. When you get L, what do you think it would mean from what we learned in the class? L would mean? Judge.
Looking at the person speaking.
Yes. Yeah, it could be, and that is all right. We said you actively listen to the person, isn't it?
Yes.
One of the ways when you said solar is where you are looking at the person. Yes. So L should first give the person full undivided attention. Look at me. Or somebody will just tell me, if I'm talking to you, look at me. Okay, we remember that. We will not forget.
Yes.
L, we can even sing later like nursery school. Okay, I. What do you think would I mean? Now listen. Remember L-I. We are at I. Georgia na kama mwelevu class. Okay, we can have now Kate. Kate.
Intentively, you intending to hear something from the person who you're listening to.
To intend.
Yes.
So more like you're interesting yourself into that person. Yes. Somebody can tell you, now interest yourself in me. What I'm saying, let it catch your interest. What we said, you are even leaning forward. Because why? What I'm saying is can interest or is of interest, okay? Yes. So we say interest yourself in what I'm saying. We are going on. We are summarizing what we learned in class. S. Listen.
Must be the sitting squarely.
Yeah, you sit squarely. And what did we say square? Can somebody demonstrate square? Are we sitting squarely?
I think we all are.
Oh, we are all are, yes. You don't stay this way. And we said you don't just lean, and don't sit this way. This is where I'm not concerned about you. Yes. Okay, sit squarely, or we can also say stop everything. Okay? Even that word can mean stop everything. I am the center of attention. Then T.
Trustfully.
Oh, good. Yes, that is true, because we said if you have to empathetically listen to the other person, you must believe in what they are saying. So T will be trust me. Trust what I'm saying. It is the truth. When I'm giving you whatever story I'm telling you what happened, please trust that because when you trust me, you don't judge me. You don't listen judgmentally, okay?
So could it mean that sometimes you may listen to a person, but the way you are looking at them already indicates that they are suspicious?
Ana ukifanya mtu hivi sasa wata ukisema, or even there is a way we raise our eyebrows, you say something, it's like, was that true? Yeah, okay, yeah.
Like they are doubting what you are talking about.
Yes.
Or they cannot trust your word.
True.
Right.
Yeah, so if you have to listen to the other person, first trust them. That's good. Then we go to E.
Eye contact.
Yes, eye contact. You don't forget that. And we said not sikukodoa, ni eye contact. Keep the eye contact. Even as we say, look at me, you can be looking at me and just going, but still it's like, would you want just to see me?
So
and
I'm not supposed to be listening and I'm watching kipindi kwa TV.
Kwa TV. And then or somebody is watching football.
I'm talking to you.
What have I said? That's not listening. We said stop everything, because S is stop everything, or sit squarely, then trust me, then E, eye contact, but you can also say encourage me.
Yes.
Because now, if I have to say and continue, remember what we said about statue? A statue listener is one who does not even have any eye contact or saying, okay, what happened? And but now if you say, it's like
Finish up.
So that is not listening, because you are not encouraging the person to go on. Sometimes even by we call them minimal prompts. Minimal prompts is not tell me the whole story. It's not a whole sentence. Because if I say it's like, oh, I want you to explain further. That's what we. So that is, and then the last one, N.
Non-judgmental.
True. So we summarize the class. N. Non-judgmental. We said don't judge. And because when you are trusting somebody, you're not judging them. And maybe as we conclude the class, anyone would tell us something about what you learned, and maybe something that hapa niliguzwa.
Okay, can I ask a question? Maybe of when you talk about encouraging or listening encouraging the person speaking, and we talk of minimal prompts, are they not also very dangerous because they can be sarcastic? Yeah,
but you see, you've not done what we are saying, trust.
Okay.
If you are listening and we are using the word listen and we have said T is trust, then you can't be saying, yeah? But you know, the minimal prompt would be, the encouragement would be saying, what happened?
So there should be
as
a
that
gauge
that one
as well.
is a way of telling the person, I'm with you, I'm listening.
All right.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah,
But
let
some
me.
can be personality. You know, we are some are funny like me. I can
Okay.
be, yeah. And that's how I am.
Yeah. Yes, they can be you, but what about the other person? We also are.
He or she must learn.
They learn, but we also learn one another. Empathetically is this. I may be used to making jokes, like me, I make jokes. But there are those situations you realize you don't make
These are
jokes here.
serious.
These are serious matter.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes. Otherwise, there is, I think marriage is about adjustment. I may be this, but what about the other person does not like it? Those jokes, what do I do?
At the same time, you can be the way you are, but there are situations ambazo unaona nao hapa haifai kuwa ni joke. Now I must listen with a lot of care. Isiwe asione kama kwamba ninamdhihaki. Hiyo unabadilisha, unatoka kwa sasa vile ulivyo, na unaingia, you empathize.
Yes. And after listening, maybe if you want to lighten the moment and you have heard the person, you can now make the joke. And it can make, you know, it looking like it's not was a matter of life and death. Remember we said, it should not be that serious like it is. We said relax. So maybe for a sense of relaxing, you can make maybe joke of it, but not make light of the moment or the issue because you feel slighted. Because the issue is this: have I been heard? Have I been understood? Have I, you know, at the end of it, did I communicate to the person who I was or what I felt? Yes. And that's how we talk about listening effectively and communicating effectively. Don't forget, we said the speaking and listening. And all of them have their way of being done well and effective. I believe at the end of it, we will learn how to communicate well in marriages.
There was an issue that maybe you've asked what we have learned and maybe our experiences in normal life, where you listen with your hard face, having a very hard face, like you are putting off the person speaking because the way you are looking at them clearly indicate that this one is not getting well with you. So, and I would sometimes I was one of those poor listeners because I would listen to you and look at your eyes mpaka unaogopa ni nini nitasema baadaye. Naangalia
You're intimidating
macho
with the acho.
Ni ya kuzima hayo maneno. So you look at them and you look at them sharply. But I have learned through sitting posture and also looking at the other person that is speaking. So it is so beneficial to me.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. So we continue to desire and to try to become effective communicators for the benefit of our families. God bless us.
Stay tuned for the continuation of effective communication in marriage on next week's episode. To get the notes of today's lesson, visit www.mbcimedia.com/TMC. Catch the repeat of the Marriage Classroom every Tuesday at 10 p.m.